Have you ever gotten home after a crazy busy weekend and it's Monday morning and you are feeling off and you're like, oh my gosh, what's going on? Am I dehydrated? Did I not drink enough water over the weekend? Did I have too much junk food and I just need to do some really clean eating? Or am I fatigued from the long drive and too many bounces on the jet ski and I need to turn in early tonight? Well, when you know the cause of the problem, hey, then you can do something about it accurately, and you will feel better and you'll feel better faster. And I just love how that is like a ripple effect. And then you can just live into your purpose more when you feel better. But this is very similar with sex and intimacy in marriage. You can feel off and you're wondering, hey, is this a sex problem? Or is this actually a problem in my marriage? And when you get clear on the source of the problem, then you can figure out how to treat that and get to a place of feeling better quicker and just with more enjoyment. So today's question is it a sex problem or is it a marriage problem? And I have 5 things I want you to consider, because the sooner that you identify the cause, the sooner you will have steps that you can take so you are feeling better and not feeling off. Here we go. This is the first one. Why do sex and marriage problems overlap? Maybe you've never even sorted it and seen that there are two tracks going on. So here we go. Intimacy requires emotional safety. You have to feel at ease to be able to show up. Hey, being intimate is a pretty vulnerable place. And if communication is broken or there's not trust there, then that scenario is going to show up in the bedroom for sure, because emotional disconnection brings sexual disconnection. They are absolutely related. All right, second thing I want you to think about: when is it a marriage problem? That's what we're going to focus on first. These are some symptoms. Think about your relationship. Do you have poor communication? Are you in conflict all the time? It's not being resolved. Well, there's continual misunderstanding, and maybe you've got to that flight or freeze cycle, and there's a lot of avoiding going on. And your spouse could have a good excuse. Oh, honey, I've got to work late tonight. But that might be avoiding you, avoiding the problem, avoiding issues in marriage. Lack of emotional connection is also a marriage problem. What does that look like? If you don't feel loved, valued, known, appreciated, all of those things will ripple over and affect other areas. And here's the bottom line: unresolved conflict. It can turn into resentment and it can cause disconnection in your marriage. So I hope you see how that cycle happens. A third area to consider is, when is it really a sexual intimacy problem? Here we go. If you have mismatched desire. What do I mean by that? So your sex drive is different than your spouse's. Your spouse has different wants in regards to frequency, in regards to preferences, and maybe you haven't talked all of that out, but those are specific to sex. If you have a challenge with your function, so I'm talking about the physicality and the biological implications of sex. A lot of things are going on here. Arousal difficulties. Of course, this happens with men and women. Erectile dysfunction. Did you know that there are stress causes for that? There's also medication you might be taking for some other symptom altogether, and it is influencing this area. It's making it worse. Certainly, perimenopause and menopause are physical symptoms, things happening in your body that will totally impact the way sex is going to happen. Can be big changes, can catch you off guard, and maybe you haven't talked it out. Okay. And then this third area of, is it a sex problem? I want to be really delicate with, because it's important and it's what's talked about the least. And this would be unresolved trauma. Maybe there was abuse in your background and you just tried to run from it, hide it, didn't share about it. Maybe you did have some counseling, but it is still there until it has completely been dealt with. Maybe you were exposed to some really harmful, negative things about sex, whether it was pornography that you didn't want to be any part of. Maybe it was pornography that now you know, not a choice that I'm going to make. So many things where exposure can influence you, even if it's not happening right now. And then if there was sexual shame, a lot of families, cultures, certainly church settings put shame on sex. And if it's not addressed, then it could still be influencing you. So we've talked about, is it a marriage problem? We've talked about, is it a sex problem? And here's the fourth area. Why does it matter to know the origin of it? Well, if you pick the wrong solution for your problem, you will have ongoing frustration. And I'm guessing you are pretty done already with frustration. Sometimes too much frustration makes people just throw up their hands like it's hopeless, they're helpless, they're beyond help. How would you know if you have chosen the wrong solution? Well, think about this. If you're like, okay, we need to improve our communication, but will that solve symptoms caused by perimenopause and menopause? No, it won't. You may have made some attempts for emotional closeness in your marriage, but that could actually make unresolved trauma worse, because a spouse could feel like, oh no, you are forcing this closeness that I'm not ready for. So really, it does matter if you know what is causing the problem that you're experiencing. Here's the fifth thing to consider. These are steps for healing. I always like to include this in my videos, and we've talked about some of this. So number one, recognize the problems you want to address. Not calling them out, identifying them just keeps you in the dark, keeps you in the frustration, grows the distance, the disconnect. So recognizing that, I know it takes a lot of courage, but that will absolutely get you started in the right direction. Number two, be willing to work. Hey, what does that look like? Well, you have to talk about it with each other. Definitely seeking professional help, because if it's ongoing, then you don't have the solution and you need some outside advice to get you to that place. And then you have to do the steps that are suggested. I have worked with so many couples. I'm so thankful that they do come to me, because they've probably done step one and they've recognized there's a problem. And I will give all kinds of resources. I have created so many guides myself. And then I suggest different podcast episodes. I mean, a lot to help you right where you are. Pretty much a personalized blueprint for your marriage. And I've had couples that didn't do it. It's like, oh, come so far, please. Don't forget that step. And then number three, which could also be a number one, because it's just an underlying thing to do, but choose connection as the goal for your marriage. Not we need to get this problem fixed, that problem fixed, they need to do this, they need to not do that. Let connection be the goal that you agree on, and then that will make things clear. That will be motivation to call you for. I have a reminder for you. I've given you a lot today, but this is really important. You have a role and responsibility. It is not all your spouse's fault, or it's not up to them to clean up their act before things will change. Hey, you have a role and a responsibility, and even more than that, God has equipped you to be able to walk in love. You are made in God's image, and God is love. So certainly He has already equipped you for that, and He will continue to help you develop that. Hey, one of the reasons I named my relationship coaching business Limitless Intimacy is because I know God as our source is boundless, limitless. It goes on and is always available for you. So please consider the webinar that is going to help you. I would love to offer to you. It's free. I'll give you the link below. It's called How to Keep Your Marriage Happy and Healthy Sexually. There's a guide that's included while you watch the video, so it's really, really going to meet you right where you are. And just thank you for doing this work with me. Thanks for joining me. Remember, God's design for a thriving marriage is for an intimate connection in spirit, soul, and body.